Now, hear me out. The documentation is clearly unreliable. As I piece together the puzzle, I am forced to make many leaps of both logic and faith. Inconsistencies are not altogether surprising, considering the sources and the subjectivity of a remembered experience. The big picture makes a certain kind of sense. It follows its own internal logic. In spite of that, even I have trouble believing what I found in regard to its first appearances in the Louisiana Bayou. This creature, the huge bloated body, clearly a relative of the meathead. That's some other creature that I'll tell you about some other day. With bits of wood and metal protruding from its skin. A leather apron covers the horrors of its torso. And on its head, it's the face of a pig. Somehow this is the detail that I found the most difficult to believe. A flaming hook. It is comfortable with fire and resistant to heat, likely thanks in part to the apron it's wearing. It's also resistant to bludgeoning, by the by, a regular bullet sponge, and the more fallible to rending attacks. It is hard for me to imagine how some hunters even manage to kill any of them at all. When driven into violent fury, its behavior would become erratic, and flames would fly from the aforementioned hook. I shudder to remember what it felt like to round a dark corner and come face to face with those empty eyes, with that flaming and glowing hook, that seemingly impossible creature. If the reports are to be believed, these butchers, as the hunters call them, are the stuff of nightmares. Either that, or only the most fantastical of tales have survived. And we really separate the facts from the fiction at this point? Perhaps not, but I am driven to continue to try, even if I can never be sure of the truth. Let me read you some clippings I found from the New Orleans True Crescent. First up, July 19th, 1893. A rare exhibition.
Perhaps you heard the art of taxidermy. Though you may not count it among the finer arts known to man, it can still be practiced with delicacy and skill. None have practiced this art with such whimsy as Walter Buthcer, an Englishman, well known among his peers in his home country. Photographs of Buthcer's work will be on display for viewing at the local practitioner, Ari Dunai, this Saturday. Admittance 5 cents.
Now we jump to September 22nd, 1893.
Come see all. Barnum's American Museum, in town, 1 week only, featuring strange and marvelous one-of-a-kind creatures, guaranteed to shock and awe, preserved by scientists to inspire and educate. Tickets available at the home of Mr. A. Dunai.
June 1st, 1984.
You'll never have to say goodbye to Rover. If you are mourning the passing of your favorite pet, consider the service of Mr. A. Dunai. Birds, dogs, rabbits, hell, even squirrels and cats can be preserved to stay with you always. Remember the good times you shared and amuse your guests. Call at the home of Mr. Dunai between the hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. for consultations.
March 31st, 1995. Ready for his profession.
The body of taxidermist Mr. Errol Dunai was discovered by a group of fishermen on the road to Stillwater Bayou this past Sunday. It is not known how come to be in that location or the poor condition in which he was found, being only recognizable by a poorly cast glass eye. Should any readers have information about Mr. Dunai, please call on the constable between the hours of 8 and 10 in the morning. Another reminder, fellas, to move with caution after dark.
October 23rd, 1985. well preserved.
The Great Bayou in Algiers sent many prized possessions out of smoke. While our reporting is usually appropriately somber, one curious anecdote proved so remarkable as to be printed. A firefighter, sifting through the wreckage of one home, found preserved a curious collection, a menagerie of taxidermy pets. The eccentric collector will be pleased to know that whatever fire retardant measures taken by the taxidermist proved successful beyond all measure.
The taxidermist was not the most like the eye in his neighborhood, and everyone around him made damn sure he knew he was not welcome in the town. Just listen what a certain Trevor Frank had to say when asked about it in the New Orleans Constable.
Sir, I beg your pardon, but that man brought the plague down upon this town. I'm damn certain of it. God rest his soul. Now for you have taken so many already. My own son stabbed the calf, goddammit. But God has delivered his punishment. Now, I know that God decreed that no animal would carry no soul within their bodies. It was no wrong on that account. But no healthy man would choose such a profession, none of my life. Sorry that my temper got the better of me. This Mr. Donnie first took the quarters adjacent to ours about 1 year ago. I brought him our family's well wishes, as all you neighbors must do. And he offered a tour of his shop, for he would both live and work on the premises. All was fine and dandy, until he showed us the racks of skins. There were rows and rows of fine, sharp knives and other strange tools I did not recognize. I didn't know what they were for, but from the look of them, they were horrible. Some sharp, horrible things. I hate even thinking of them. I took a disliking to that man instantly. I had always thought preserved animals were stuffed, somehow like a toy bear, you know? I didn't know what had to be done, but Mr. Donnie here, with no little excitement, mind you, explained to me that he made clay molds of the animals and they stretched the skin upon them like a coat. It is no wonder God has scared us with this plague. Only a man of the devil would do such a thing, mark my words, sir. My wife and I made clear that he was not welcome, and yet we encourage our neighbors to do the same. It was our Christian duty. Of course, our little Tommy took a liking to the man, the fool he is. I forbid him to ever cross his threshold, but I'm sure he has nonetheless, and no manner of handle will cure the boy.
One day, the man was just gone. I wish I could say I'm sorry to hear he passed, considering the state they found him. But I'm a man of God, and I can only say that was God's justice. And now put that on your goddamn papers.